Hello, my dears, and welcome to my next educational lesson. Today's class is going to be very important because we are going to speak about the basic principles of Egyptian hip technique. So why I have decided to record the explanations about this topic? It's because without the correcting mistakes in basic hip technique and without the basic principles of Egyptian technique, without its understanding, we cannot move forward to more advanced and professional technique. So now, guys, I would like to remind you the three basic principles of Egyptian hip technique. And let's start from the first one. So the first basic principle of Egyptian technique is that we never dance with our legs completely and totally straight, because all our hip movements are coming from our soft knees, because our knees are helping to move our hip bones. The second basic principle of Egyptian hip technique is that all our movements are coming from the down of our belly. So I'm not dancing from my waist and from this part and with these muscles from my waist, but I'm dancing from down of my belly, like from the womb. So all my hip movements, everything is coming from down here. I'm not working with the waist. I'm not dancing with my waist, but all of my hip movements are coming from the down of my belly. And the third basic principle of Egyptian technique is that all my movements are coming from my hip bones. So Oriental is the dance of the hips. So we need hip technique. So that's why all of our movements are coming from our hip bones inside, not from the waist, but from our hip bones. And of course, our knees are helping my hips to move properly. So guys, let's continue and let's make these explanations more detailed. So for example, we are going to take the basic movement like the hip accent to the side, and please pay attention. I'm not working with my knees straight, so always in Egyptian technique we help our hip movements with our knees. So please look from the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how my knees are working. You can work with your knees in a soft way, or you can make more clear movements with your knees, and your muscles around your knees must be very strong to control your movements, but you always move your knees to help your hip bones to move. So, for example, if I'm not using my knees and I'm not working with my knees, my hip movement is going to be like this. Okay, my legs are a little bit straight and I'm not using my knees to push back and back to make a clear hip movement. So the movement is going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Look one more time. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I don't have hip movements. I have to move my hips. And please don't work from your waist, because if you are going to work with your waist, the movement will be modified and it will look completely different. It will not be in Egyptian way. It's not Egyptian technique. It's going to be just stylized movement. So if you are working from your waist, it's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you see, I'm not using my knees and I'm not using my hip bones inside. What I'm doing is just I'm pushing to the sides, but from my waist, and my legs are straight. So this is the wrong way to do. Look one more time, the wrong variant. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, I'm working from my waist, but the correct way to do is to work with your knees first. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I contract my muscles around my knees to make very clear movements of my knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. After this, what I have to do, I need to work from my hip bones, not from my waist, here and here, but from my hips. The hips are here. You can feel your hip bones. One hip bone, second hip bone. So you are going to work from your hip bones, not from your waist. So the correct variant is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So, my dears, one more important point about Egyptian technique is that we are not working with the whole square of our hips. So what does it mean, the whole square of our hips? It means that I'm working with both of my hips and joints together. But in Egyptian technique, you have to divide your body into two parts, and you have to separate your right joint and your left joint, and to stop working from the waist and with the whole square of your hips. So if you work with both of your joints, your movement is going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you will just push both of your hips to the side with your legs straight and without working with your hips and hip bones. And you are not helping with your knee. So you have to move just one hip, one joint. You see, I'm helping with my knee. Please look from the side. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, I'm not moving both of my hips. 1 and 2, and from the waist, 3 and 4, but 1, 2, 3, 4. My hip is separate. This hip is also separate. They are not together. One more time, look. 1 step, step. 1 step, step. 1 step, step. 1 step, step. Okay, guys, one more important point about Egyptian technique. If you want to achieve clear hip movements, not the soft ones and smudged ones and unclear ones, but if you want to have very clear, precise hip movements, what do we need? We need to use our muscles. So our muscles control our hips. If you want to make a clear accent, you have to use your muscles here and here. So if we don't use our muscles, so our movement, even if it's correct, it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I'm moving with my knee. I'm pushing just one hip bone, but my movement is not clear. For example, if the music has very clear rhythm, or tack, 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 and you have to show the clarity. So if you are not using your muscles, you will never be able to make a clear hip movement. So what do we need? First of all, of course, we need to contract our muscles here, rack and release. Here, rack and release. And also the muscles around your knees must be also very strong. So your knees must not be weak, because if your knees, the muscles around your knees are weak, of course your movement will be unclear. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. But if my muscles are strong, I control my muscles, I contract my hips one by one, my movement is going to look like this. Doom, tack, doom, tack, doom, tack, doom, tack. You see, it's very, very super clear. Okay, guys, I hope this movement is clear. So on the example of this movement, which I showed you before, you can understand all the movements of Egyptian hip technique. So the principles are always the same, as I have told you before. So now we are continuing and we are going to the next movement. This movement is very important because it's very common in Egyptian hip technique, and sometimes people are making the same mistakes because they are not following the basic rules. There are 3 rules which I told you. Okay, so this movement is going to be our hip out, pelvis out, out, out. So please remember, we will start from the first principle, right? So we are not doing this movement with our straight legs. So what does it mean, straight legs? Is that it means that I'm not helping with my knees to make my hip bones move. So it's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see, I'm not helping with my knees. They are completely straight, and I'm just trying to push my hips down or forward, yes? So this is wrong. What you have to do is to make your knees softer, and of course, when you push your hips out, you are going to make your knees just a little bit go back. Not too much, of course, not too much, but just soft. Tack, 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 tack. So this is about straight legs, okay? Now the basic principle number 2 is that our movements are coming from the down of our belly, from here, not from here. It's from here, like from our womb. Imagine from here. So under your navel, here. So when I'm making this movement, I'm not making it from my waist. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm not pushing all the square of my belly out. No. I push just the lower part of my belly out. It's not like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. My tail is not jumping. No, I want to give my hip bones out and close them. Give me out, open your hip bones and close them back, but only from this part. Okay, guys, now I'm going to show you from the side. Please look. We are making our hips go here, just here, just here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. My knees are soft, the first principle. Second principle, from here, not from my waist. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes? So now we are going to the third principle of Egyptian hip technique. So guys, the third principle of Egyptian hip technique is that we are working always from our hip bones, yes? From hip bones, not from the waist. That's why I told you that we need to open our hip bones out and close them in. And of course, here, your muscles in the down of your belly must be strong enough to control your movements. So if you are weak and you are doing something like this, 1, 1, 1, 1. Of course, you will never have a clear hip movement. So your muscles here must be strong enough and trained. 1, push. So you push stronger, and as soon as you take your belly inside, you contract your muscles. Your muscles are strong here. Push and contract again. Doom and doom and doom and doom. Your knees are soft. Don't push them back. There is no back, and please don't damage your back, because some people are making this movement from the waist and they trying to do like this, and they will damage their spine, they will damage their back. So it's not from the back, it's not from the waist, it's from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now please look the not correct variant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Guys, please look, one more mistake when people are making their knees back and they are making their knees totally straight, so they are going to damage their knees, because you can't push your knees all the time totally back. You will damage your joints and meniscus, so you have to take care. Always we leave about 1 centimeter in the back to protect your knees. So that's why I say that we never dance with straight legs and straight knees. In Egyptian technique, we never dance with straight legs. So my dears, please pay attention again. So this movement is coming not from here, but it's coming from your muscles, from down part. So as soon as you push here, and when you want to contract here, you contract your muscles here, and a little bit you are contracting your muscles here to make a clear movement. Then you push with your hip bone, just the hip bones out, 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 out. So only from here, not from here. So please take care and learn about this mistake, and don't do this mistake because you are going to damage your spine. Now, on the base of this movement, this was the basic movement, we are going to make some other movement with traveling, with steps. So you already know about these principles. So our movement is going to be like this: accent, step, accent, step, accent, step, accent, step. So now let's pay attention how to make this movement correctly. Okay, let's go. So this movement looks very easy and it looks like one movement, but actually there are three movements in one movement. So what we have to do? First of all, we need to do the preparation. So we do the preparation. The preparation means that we need to take our hips inside in a soft way. Inside preparation. After this, you are going to make the main movement, the accent forward. So you have to push your hips down from the down of your belly, down. And after this, you are going to make it inside in a soft way again. So you are making and preparation, push, and you take your hips inside again. You make the step, preparation in, push out, and take your hips inside again. So like this, we are going to have three movements in one movement. Okay, let's look how this movement looks like. So it's going to be like this: preparation, tuck and inside. Preparation, tuck out and inside again. Preparation, tuck out, inside again. And preparation, tuck out, inside again. So let's do it faster. And 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step. So guys, for example, if I'm not going to make 3 movements in one movement and I'm not going to make any preparations, your movement is going to look like this. Please pay attention. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You see, it's like I'm staying forward, I'm staying in the front. So the movement is not so precise and beautiful and not so clear. That's why we have to follow this rule. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You see, I'm contracting here all the time and the movement looks super clear. Okay, my dears, I hope this movement is clear for you. Now we are going on and we continue with the next movement. It's similar to the previous one, but it's going to be our hips inside. So it was outside, now it's inside. So how to learn to do this movement correctly? We are going back again to our 3 basic principles of Egyptian hip technique, and we remember about our knees first. So my knees are soft and my knees are going to help my hip bones to move in a good way. So my knees are going to push forward, 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 forward. If my knees are weak, the movement is going to be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. But if my knees are strong enough and I contract my muscles around my knees, my movements of my knees are going to be very precise and very clear. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need to practice like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Both knees forward. Now we go on to the second principle of Egyptian hip technique, and it's going to be about our down part of my belly, again about this part. So I'm going to push my hips up from this part. The mistake will be inside from my waist. But I'm not working with my waist. I'm working with my hips, with the down of my belly. So please look, the mistake, 1, 2, 3, 4. So some people are making it from this part, from their back, or from their waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so I'm working with Egyptian hip technique just from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Please now pay attention. I'm helping with my knees. Push your knees forward. 1, and your hip bones up here. Up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now we are going to the third principle of Egyptian hip technique. Again, remember about these bones, yes? So I'm working with my bones. I'm not working with my waist. So bones are going up, 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 and up. So now you remember about that important point about your hip muscles. Now, to make our movement super clear, we have to use our hip muscles. So which kind of muscles do we use in this movement? So first of all, I will show you without any muscles in a soft way. It looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You see, I'm correct. I'm moving my knees forward, and I'm moving my hip bones up, but I'm making it in a soft and gentle way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now we are going to use our hip muscles. What do we need? I need to contract my hips under each of my hip. Here, the muscles here. So each time I make my hips up, I will contract these muscles. And which more muscles? Which muscles more? It's about our muscles here. Here inside your hips. So here, the muscles here. So it's automatic. As soon as you are going to contract your muscles here, the muscles here are also contracted automatically. 1, so you are contracting all of your muscles here. Let's make it clear. And 1, you see, I'm pushing my knees, I'm making my hip bones inside, I'm working from the down of my belly, and I'm contracting my muscles inside. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now the wrong variant of this movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You see, my legs are straight. I'm not helping. I'm working from my waist instead of my hip bones, and I'm not contracting any muscles here because I'm just trying to push my belly, my stomach more inside, and sometimes even more back, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Instead of making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, guys, this is very important, so please learn and practice these movements and control yourself about this part. So now we are going to the next movements, and we are going to take camel and reverse camel, because these movements are more common in the hip technique and they are used very often by belly dancers and dancers. So our camel. So let's remember about our basic principles of Egyptian hip technique again. So number 1. What is this? It's about our legs and knees. If I'm not going to make my legs soft and my knees soft, my camel is going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I need to make my knees soft, and I'm going to help with my knees to move my pelvis, okay? So number 2, if I'm not working from the down of my belly, but again, I'm working from the waist. Please look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So what I need, first of all, my knees must be soft, and I must work from here, from down part. This is the Egyptian technique, from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, guys, and the third mistake and the third principle of Egyptian hip technique, it's about our hip bones. So I'm going to work with my hip bones. I need to relax my back, to relax the muscles here, and to move forward and back in a soft way, not from my waist, but with my hip bones forward and back, forward and back. 1, 2. You see how I help with my knees to make my hips move forward and back? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So if you are not doing the basic principles of Egyptian hip technique, your camel is going to look totally different. It's going to be something like this. Something from here, something from your belly, from your stomach. Something like stylized movements, but not in Egyptian way. Okay, guys, let's go on, and we are going to take the reverse camel. It's the same rules and the same principles. So please remember, not straight legs, because with straight legs, you see, I cannot move my hips. My straight legs don't help me to move my hips, and I need to move my hips and to push them with the help of my knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So first of all, soft knees, and you see I'm going to help with my knees to push my hips. 1, 1, 1, 1. Second principle, we are going from the down of my belly. From down, not from middle, not from the waist. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, from here. From here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And of course, it's about our hip bones. We're going to move our hip bones front. Our hip bones front, like I'm taking and putting my hips on a circle, And 1, help with your knees. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You can also put your leg here and continue making your hips in the reverse camel. 1, 2, 3. Pay attention to my knees. 1, 2, 3. Push with your hips front. With this part, you push front and go back. Front and go back. Front and go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, guys, now we go on, and on the base of these principles and this basic technique, we are going to make the varieties of hip movements. For example, we take the camel and we are going to make it not from the middle of our belly, but I'm going to shift it to my right joint and to my left joint. So here we are going to apply the rule about dividing our body into 2 parts, separating our joints one from another, and working just with one joint separately and with the second joint separately without moving the whole square of my hips together. So together it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 from the middle. Now I'm going to shift the power only to my right joint. So to apply this rule, you have to practice, and first of all, you have to learn to feel your right joint separately and your left joint separately. So what does it mean? You stand up and you start to move just with one hip and with one joint. You have to feel your joint from the right separately. Please look at my knee, back, 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 and this hip joint is not moving. Only this joint is working. So this means to divide your body and feel your only one hip joint. Here you will feel the other hip joint. You can make down, you can make up, and you are going to help with your knee to move your hips, okay? So don't move together. This is together. Please look together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just one hip joint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here again, two joints. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now you are going to feel just one joint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I hope you see the difference. This is the big difference. So divide your body. Now we are going to make our camel not from the middle of our belly, but from here, from this part. So I'm starting like this, and I'm going now to move just one joint in my camel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Compare with the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is middle. Now I shift the power here, so I will work just with this joint. I'm going to take my hip bone inside here. Look, the hip bone. Let's practice. In and in and in and in. Not from the middle. Middle is like this. In and in and in and in. But only this side. Inside, 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 inside. So it's like you are taking your hip bone inside your rib. So guys, now we have learned to take our hip bone inside our rib, and now we are going to make this hip movement just with this part of your body, just with this part. So forget about the other part. You are going to make your camel just with this part, with this joint. 1, 2, you see my knee? I'm helping with my knee to move my hip bone. 1, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. From other side, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Please look at my knee. I'm helping with my knee. My legs are soft, not straight. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we are going to combine it and to make some steps. So, for example, you make the camel here, camel, step, camel, step. Camel inside, step, 1, just with one joint, 1 step, 1 step, back, just with this part here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay guys, this kind of movement you can use also, for example, in your hip drop. You know the basic hip drop, right? So now we are going to change and substitute for the camel here. So you are going to make just with one joint, with this part of your body, not with two parts. This is the middle, okay? I need just this part. Feel this part. 1 and 1 and camel here. Camel, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And we are also going to combine it, for example, with our movement here. 1 step, 1 step, 1 step, 1 step, and a kind of a hip drop. 3, 4, and here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, my dears, I hope this is clear for you. And now we have to go on and we have to take another movement and we need to see and to clarify the mistakes of Egyptian hip technique and stylized movements, how to do correct and how to do wrong. So we are going to take our basic twist. Everybody knows the twist, right? So now we will need to make our twist just with one hip, with one leg. So the mistakes are going to be again about straight legs. So some people confuse and they do this twist like this, with both of their hips, with straight legs, and not using the down part of their hips here and not using one joint separately and the second joint separately. So that's why their movement looks like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So the movement which we need in Egyptian hip technique looks like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Okay, my dears, now we have to fix these mistakes. So mistake number 1 about our straight legs. Remember about the basic principles of Egyptian hip technique. And I need just one hip in this movement. I need you not to make straight legs, but I need your knee to help your hip to move. Please look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Use your knee. 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be first soft knee, soft and soft and soft and soft. And the movement is going to look like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it can be very precise if you are going to use the muscles around your knees and you are going to control it and release, control it and release, and you are going to make clear hip movement. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You see, my knees are more clear and with muscle contraction. The second basic principle is that I need to use my hips from down. I must not use my hips from my waist like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So in this way you are not feeling your hips here. You are not feeling the down part. You are not moving from your hips. Okay? So now you have to move from here. So you need to use your hip bone front. Front push, release back. Push, release. Push, release. Push, release. Push, release. Don't forget about your knee. And of course, don't forget you are dividing your body into two parts. Please separate your joints. Don't work with both of your hips so that your movement can look like this. 1 and 2 from down. Yes? From down here. So the third principle of Egyptian hip technique is going to be about what? It's about our hip bones. So that's why I told you to separate your body. Use just from your hip bone. Your hip bone is moving forward. Forward, release. Forward, forward, forward. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push stronger with your knee and make your hip accent. So let's check again. 1, 2, 3 with mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And now in the correct way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Okay, now we are going to make this movement not in a soft way, but in a clear and contracted way. So in a soft way, yes, it's correct, but it's not so clear, yes? It's not so accented. So now I will need my muscles. I will contract my muscle here and my muscle here gradually, one by one, contract, release, contract, release, so that my movement looks very clear. So this is soft. 1, 2, without muscle contraction, without. 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now with muscle contraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, more clear, tac, contract, contract, release, contract, and release. Okay, guys, this is important about our twist movements, and this is the basic movement. So without understanding these principles in the basic movements, we cannot go to advanced and more complicated and difficult hip techniques. So first, you have to fix these problems. You have to fix these mistakes. Only after this, you can go on to more advanced and professional hip technique. Okay, my dears, let's go on, and what we have to do, we have to go on to another basic hip movement which everybody is using, but we need to check if you are doing this correctly or not. So we are going to have our hip up. So this is the basic movement. So first of all, I will speak about the mistakes. Mistake number 1, if you are using your straight legs, if you are doing with both of your hips, with the whole square of your hips, you are just moving to the sides from your waist. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you see, I'm not dividing my body into two parts. I'm not working with my hips. I'm doing a very superficial and stylized movement. So we need to fix these mistakes and this problem. So number 1, we have to use our knee. This is number 1. Number 2, I need to use the down part of my hips, not from the waist, pushing it to the side, but I need to use my hips from down of my belly. 1 and 2 in a soft way. 3 and 4. Number 3 is that I have to work from my hip bones. Hip bones are going up. So please divide your body again into two parts. Feel just one joint. You remember, as I showed you before, so it's like this. Feel your joint separately. Feel your joint separately. And you are going to make this accent. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You see, my hip is moving separately from this hip. I'm working just with one hip, not together with my hips from my waist. Okay? So this is the clear point. So now what we have to do, we made this movement again in a soft way, because always first we start with soft movements. Only after this, only after you practice the soft movements, you are going to move to accented movements with your muscle contraction. So you have to contract your muscle one by one. I will contract here my muscle under my hip, here, release, step, contract my muscle here, release, step. So I'm going to contract, release, contract, release, contract, release. So the movement, first soft, 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 and soft. Correct movement, correct, but in a soft way. Now accented way, contraction. Doom, 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 doom. Contract, release, contract, release, contract, release, contract, release. Now please look the wrong movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, my dears, I hope you saw a clear difference between the right and wrong, and you are going to fix this problem. Now we are going to the next important basic movement, and we are going to speak about the hip down, down. Okay, so the movement is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now let's take again the basic principles. So if my legs are straight, my movement is going to be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So my knees have to be soft And my knees need to push forward and back to help my hips to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You see, my hip is moving down and my knee is going back. My hip is moving down, my knee is going back. My hip is going down, my knee is going back. And my hip is going down and my knee is going back. So this is the principle. So you cannot move your hips without the help of your knees. So you can't move your hips with straight legs. This is number one. Number two, it's about the down part of our belly. Yes, from here. So please don't move again from your waist. It's not about your waist and your muscles here. So if you are going to work with your waist, your movement is going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because you are moving from your waist. You are not moving with your hips. So with your hips, it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So guys, I hope you see a big difference. So now we arrive to the third principle, and it's again about our hip bones. So guys, if you are not working with your hip bones, always hip bones. So your movement is going to be superficial. It's going to look like this. 1, 2, you are moving all this part down, all this part down, and all this part down, instead of just working with your hip bones. So it's going to look like this. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. But it needs to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So for this, to work with your hip bones, you need to feel your hips. You need to feel these hip bones, and you need to practice and to try to dance from your hip bones, not from your waist. And the last point, if you want to make your movement clear and not soft, so the soft one looks like this. 1, 2, 3, it's correct. 5, 6, 7, and 8, this is soft but correct. Now we arrive to the muscle contraction. So what you have to do, you need to contract each of your muscle one by one. 1, you contract here. 2, you contract here. 3, you contract here. 4, you contract here. So like this, your movement is going to look super clear and visible on your body. Okay guys, let's continue and let's go on to the next important movement. So I'm going to talk about Omi. So Omi, it's a small circle here down in your belly around your navel, yes? So we are going to make up here, and down here. So please remember about the basic principles of Egyptian hip technique, and the most important, that we need to do this Omi not from here, not from our waist, and not here, but our Omi is coming in the down of our belly, like we are making a small circle around our navel, like in the womb. So we are not moving here with the whole body. We are not making this movement here in the square of our belly, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Please look from the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. This movement is coming from down. So it's down. First, you have to practice the basic Omi. And after this, you have to check yourself if you are doing this Omi here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Please look at my knees. They are working one by one, forward and back. So please, the mistake will be if you are moving from here, from your waist. 1, 2, 3, 4. What you have to do is to shift all the power and all the intention in the down of your belly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see, I'm making a small hip circle around my navel, around here in the down part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's in the fast tempo, but also from here. And in a slow tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, my dears, let's talk about the next movement, and it's a basic movement, arch. So I'm going to make arch with my hip, arch here. So again, pay attention, I'm not making straight legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3. Look at my knee. 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm working with my knee and I help my hip bone to move with my knee. So this is number 1. Number 2, I'm not working from the waist. I'm working with the down part. So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but it's from the down part here, down part, and I'm moving here. 1, 2, please look at my knee. I help with my knee here. And the point number 3, I'm working from my hip bone, and I'm not working with the whole square of my hips. I move just one joint. Separate your joints and just move just with one joint. This joint is not working. 1, 2, 3, 4. Help with your knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is the principles. So the mistake you know is 1 with both of your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So these are the basic principles, and it was in a soft way. Now we have to do it in accented way with our muscle contraction. So the muscle contraction will be in this hip. I'm going to contract and make the accent in my arch. 1 muscle contraction is here. 2 muscle contraction is here. 1 muscle contraction is here. 2 muscle contraction is here. 1, 2. Clear movements. Clear. This is soft, 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 clear. 1, 2, 1, 2. Accents. Accents here. Okay, my dears, let's go on and we continue with the movement with our raindrop forward. I call it like a raindrop. So we are going to move our hip forward. So what do we need? Again, we remember about the basic principles of Egyptian hip technique, 3 principles, and I'm not working with my both legs straight like this. No, I will help with my right knee, please pay attention, to move and to make this hip movement. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now I'm going to stretch my hip forward and I'm going to move just one hip. So remember, our knees are soft. This knee is helping my hip to move forward. After this, we are going to work from down part. I'm not working with all my waist. And the last principle is that I'm working with my hip bone. I'm pushing my hip bone front. So I'm going to make this movement. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And please remember that I'm not working with both of my hips, with the whole square of my hips, like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. No, I'm working just with one joint. 1, push forward, go back. Push forward, go back. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So not correct will look like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4 with straight legs, yes? And from both of my hips and from the waist. But I need 1, 2, 3, 4. And please don't put your foot like this because this will prevent you from moving forward. Your foot is just normal here. And if you want to make an accent with muscle contraction, you can push forward with your hip muscle contraction here. Doom, go back, doom, go back, doom, go back, doom, go back. Okay, now we go on and I'm going to explain to you the vertical hip movement because this was horizontal. It was a horizontal circle. Now I need to show you the vertical movement because all of our Egyptian hip technique is divided into horizontal movements and vertical movements, into soft movements and accented movements. So that's why we need to practice first soft and only after this with accent. So we are going to make our hip circle here. And please look, again, not straight legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I will help with my knee to push my hip bone up. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is number 1. Number 2, it's from here, from down, not from my waist. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I'm drawing a circle on the wall here with my pen. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last point, it's coming from my hip bone. I divide my body into 2 parts. I separate my joints. I'm not working with both of my hips. I move only one joint here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, my dears, we have studied all the most important basic movements and I have explained to you all the basic principles, mistakes and the right parts. So this is really, really important so that we can move forward to more advanced technique in our next lessons. So please study, this is really important. So now what we have to do is to combine all of these movements together and we need to make a big practice for all of this hip technique. Let's start, guys. Ready? Basic hip accent with muscle contraction. Work from your hips. Double accent, double. Practice with me. Now faster and step, muscle contraction. Use your hip. Faster. Now, accent. Slow from down of your belly. You are ready? Faster. Slow, wait, slow, wait. Faster. Down, out. Camel. Out. Work with your legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Work with your legs. Hip. Hip drop. Change. Now ready? Faster. One step. One step. One step. Okay, guys, let's start our big practice. Hip accent, side. Your heels are down on the floor. Heels down on the floor. Use your muscles. Muscles. Accent. Now go faster. And tuck, tuck. Now use your twist, step, twist, step. Push just with one joint. More. Push just one joint forward. Forward. Use your muscle contraction now faster. More. Accent. Twist. Now arch. Faster. Just with one joint. Now accent. Accent. Work with one hip. Change. Soft, 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 soft. Accent. More. Muscle contraction is here. Here. Contract. Now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Change. More clear hip movement. Now, 1, 2. Our hips down, yes? 3. Work from your hips. Okay guys, let's start our big practice. Hip accent, side. Your heels are down on the floor. Heels down on the floor. Use your muscles. Muscles. Accent. Now go faster. And tuck, tuck. Now use your twist, step, twist, step. Push just with one joint. More. Push just one joint forward. Forward. Use your muscle contraction now faster. More. Accent. Twist. Now arch. Faster. Just with one joint. Now accent. Accent. Work with one hip. Change. Soft, 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 soft. Accent. More. Muscle contraction is here. Here. Contract. Now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Change. More clear hip movement. Now, 1, 2. Our hips down, yes? 3. Work from your hips. Guys, let's continue practice. Our hip down, down. Now soft, 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 soft. Again with muscle contraction. Work more strong with your knees and your hip muscles. Soft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Now let's make double. 1, 2. 1, 2. Accent, 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 accent. Double. Now just like this. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. Clear hip movements from down of your belly. Omi. From here, down. Ready? Now faster. 3. 1, 2, 3. Now go move to one leg and to another leg. On one spot. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now hip. Faster. 1, 2, raindrop. 5, 6. Work just with one joint. Slow. Slow. Accent. Accent. Change. 1, 1. Stretch. Stretch. Now faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Guys, let's continue practice. Our hip down, down. Now soft, 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 soft. Again with muscle contraction. Work more strong with your knees and your hip muscles. Soft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's make double. 1, 2, 1, 2. Accent, 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 accent. Double. Now just like this. 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Clear hip movements from down of your belly. Omi. From here, down. Ready. Now faster. 3, 1, 2, 3. Now go move to one leg and to another leg. On one spot. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now hip. Faster. 1, 2, raindrop. 5, 6. Work just with one joint. Slow. Slow. Accent. Accent. Change. 1, 1. Stretch. Stretch. Now faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now guys, let's go. Circle. Soft circle here. Soft circle here, just with one joint. With one joint. And go on faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Change here. 1. To work with one joint, help with your knee, help with your knee. Now faster. Tak. Don't work with both of your hips, okay? Accent. Accent, muscle contractions here. Accent. Accent, change here. Accent. Accent. Accent, work with your knee. Here. Accent your raindrop. Muscle contractions here. Change. Accent. Go back. Accent. Go back. Help with your knee and contract your muscle here. Tak, tak, tak. And tak, 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 tak. Here. Tak, tak. Doom. And doom. Here. Tak, tak. Doom. Doom. Continue. Up. Again. Up. And tak, tak, tak. Go back. Accent. Camel. Here. Camel. Here. 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 Up. Up. Now twist. And tak. Continue. Now guys, let's go. Circle, soft circle here, soft circle here, just with one joint, and go on faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, change here. 1, to work with one joint, help with your knee, Now faster. Tak. Don't work with both of your hips, okay? Accent, accent, muscle contractions here, accent, accent, change here, accent, 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 work with your knee, here, accent, your raindrop, muscle contractions here, change, accent, go back, accent, go back, help with your knee, and contract your muscle here, tak, 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 and tak, 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 here, tak, tak, doom, and doom, here, tak, tak, doom, doom, continue, up, again, up, and tak, 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 go back, accent, camel, here, 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 up, up, now twist, and tak, continue. Okay, my dears, we have finished this class and I'm super happy because in this class I was able to explain to you all the important and basic rules and principles of Egyptian hip technique. So it was super valuable. You know why? Because on the base of these simple hip movements we are going forward, and in my next classes we are going to study more variety of Egyptian hip technique, and we are going to take more special, unique and interesting hip movements. So thank you so much for being with me, and continue studying, learning, fix your mistakes, and I'm waiting for all of you in my next educational videos.